Hello, everybody. Okay, let it focus. Let's get set up here. Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm starting a few minutes late, and I am a little bit stressed. I was just on the phone with someone for my muggle job, and I've just got a lot on my mind. I think this is going to be really beneficial for me to talk with you guys this morning. Hi, Alter Ego. Hi, Ann. And hi to everyone who's watching the playback of this, whether it's a day from now, whether it's a year from now, whether it's 4 years, that would be crazy. But welcome. So we're going to be going over, this is our second live stream for the book, The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. And I have some things that I want to talk to you guys about as soon as my camera wants to focus. So we're going to be going over our homework from last week. We're going to be going over some things that were posted in the Facebook group. I have a giveaway, a small little giveaway that I want to announce to you guys. And all other types of goodies. Hi, Heather. How are you this morning? I got some coffee in one of my very favorite mugs. I believe Angie got me this. I think Angie got me this. So where do we want to start? I am sister stressed this morning. Yeah, so basically I'm a bit in my own head, and I'm gonna try my best to put that aside. But I'm kind of like dealing with my job, my regular day job, like in between things, and I have been for like the last month, because in the beginning of November we went and traveled for a week. And I mean, my job, and also George, my boyfriend, he goes with us sometimes to shows and whatnot to help out. So we were in Chicago for the first week in November. We came back. I was trying to get myself back, and then it was like Thanksgiving and George's birthday and my grandma's birthday and my mom's birthday, and then we left and just did a big road trip, George and I, for my job for a whole week. And if you guys watched last week's, we were like in another state in our friend, like I was like in the guest bedroom of our friend's house on the way back up. And we did like 8 different deliveries in Florida, and we drove like a 16-foot, Penske rental truck, and it was a big thing. And now we came back. I went straight to work. I've been trying to get my house ready and everything ready, because Saturday evening I had my brothers and sisters over, and I hosted like a family, holiday party in between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year and all that stuff. My brother who lives, hey, hi, wow, it really doesn't want to focus on me today. My brother who lives in the west side of the US is visiting right now, and actually he has my car, and he just texted me saying, I'm headed your way, and I was like, I'm live streaming, so just walk in. So you will probably hear him come in, you might see him, maybe he'll pop his head in or something. I just have a lot going on. And then there's some really deep things that I want to discuss, like I said, that was brought up in the Facebook group. If you are not a part of the Facebook group, it is a great way for you to get more involved, for you to kind of connect more, to be able to have your voice heard more about what books we want to read, or your feelings on the books, or your homework, seeing other people's homeworks and being able to post and share your homework if you participated in that. So if you want to join the Facebook group, it is just facebook.com/groups/witchy book club. And after this is not live anymore, after it posts, there's always links down below. Good. All right. That was pretty good. I didn't stumble. I always have a hard time saying /groups/witchy book club. So where should we start? I always normally start with homework, but I feel like we'll get to the homework, and that I really want to start off with some of the things that were brought up in Facebook. So I'm not going to be saying anybody's names, just because even though they've posted in the group, like I don't know, they're not here. They might not be here to kind of like have their opinion or their voice. So I'm just going to like keep it general, and if you want to check out the Facebook group and kind of reply more personally to them, you can. So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually kind of linking to the main subjects of this, and it's basically evolving around how a lot of people are struggling or might have given up on this book for many different reasons. And one of our moderators of the group here and in the Facebook group is Sam, and she said, I wasn't going to do the homework because I'm going through one of these times when self-care is the last thing I want to do. But I've also realized that these are the times I need it most. So I said, screw it and force myself. Every little bit helps, right? And then she posted her homework, which was, I made like a worksheet, and you can find it on my website. It is samanthamenzo.com. And I have like a special tab for our Witchy book club. Let me pull this closer. That might help actually. Hey guys, what's up? That might help to keep it focused. So she posted her homework, which was to come up with 12 personal commandments. That's what Gretchen calls it in the book, but we've kind of adopted it to be like my 12 personal mantras, whatever. It's just 12 truths, really, that you really want to live by or that you want to incorporate in your day-to-day life. And let's just read one of hers. It is, let's see, which ones do I really like? Oh, I like, don't turn your joys into chores. That one really made me think a lot about my life and what I'm, what I do and what my chores are and how, made me think. Another one is be present by giving things your full attention. Also made me think a lot. My Gemini does not do that very well. So yeah, but she talked about how it's the last thing she wants to do and how she wasn't going to do the homework because it's a time where she's having a difficult time with self-care. And it seems like that is really kind of, what am I trying to say? A lot of people are struggling with this right now. So somebody else posted, and it kind of started a discussion in here. And it goes, oh, hey, Sam's here. I don't know if you heard me or if you came in just now, but I was talking about your post. So somebody else posted in the Facebook group and said, it's kind of long, so bear with me. It says, I'm feeling a bit down because The Happiness Project is not a book I'm able to vibe with at all. I got the book and intended on reading it and being a part of Witchy Book Club for the first time. I read a bit of it and just don't resonate with the author. I feel like she is not someone I relate to at all, and her vibe doesn't resonate with me, so I've stopped reading the book. I feel as though she comes from a completely different background to me, and I found myself actually resenting her because she seems so well off, has a seemingly stable family, and don't relate at the moment. As someone who has mental health issues and many other setbacks that make it hard to take her advice, I feel like she makes it seem easy to make some of the changes she makes when some days for people it's hard to even get out of the bed. I'm going to keep the book because someday there may be a time when I can relate to it more. Also, I should say, I don't know anything about the author. My opinions are just from my gut vibes, from what I've read and how it makes me feel in my correct state of mind. I really hope everyone else can relate and take positive things from this book. And I thought that was really, really maturely stated. And, she said her opinion. She was really honest. And it was a good way to open up a conversation for other people who might have been feeling the same way, but didn't want to kind of go against everybody else thinking that this book is amazing. And there's a couple things I want to address here. Again, I'm not going to go super into this because this person might not be here to kind of talk, for themselves. But the one thing is, I definitely can see if you are struggling with something like mental health, or, really, really difficult issues, if this is just not a time for you to be able to focus on, motivating yourself or changing certain things in your life and you feel like it's not a great time for you, don't force it. It's okay, and I feel like the fact that, they're trying to put the book aside in hopes that maybe they will come into a time where they can enjoy the book, that's really, really mature and well said, I guess. And that, even they were hoping, instead of just slamming the book and saying, I don't like this author, I think she comes from a spot of privilege and I'm not going to read it. There was a lot of really mature written aspects of that post. One of the things, though, I do want to touch on that keeps in the comments is for people saying sort of similar things, is that You know, that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to find for me a good self-help book or motivational, life-inspiring, self-awareness, whatever you want to call it, book, is that, you know, and we've talked about this before we started, is that a lot of them seem like they come, or they do come from a place or a mindset of privilege. But what I really liked about this one in particular was because even though I definitely feel like the author is privileged and does come from that and might be hard for us to relate to her specifically, it's more so about being motivated by her want and need to make change in her life. And that it's not more so about us having to follow and us having to connect on an actual level with her marriage, with her children, with her job or her career or whatever. It's more so about being inspired by her want and need to make changes or to become more intentional in living her life. Now, again, if you're struggling with something like mental health, like getting out of the bed in the morning might just be what is the biggest task for you, whereas she's talking about how she can scrapbook her children's memories. I get that. But I think that if we could all try to just live in this book of how can I turn this into my motivation and making myself be more self-aware or make good choices for ourselves and our happiness and for those around us, that's when we're really going to find the beauty and the magic in this book. Another reason why I feel as though hi Autumn Breeze, how are you doing this morning? Another reason why I feel like this was one that I picked was really because of the fact that this isn't coming from a place of this is how you should do it, or here's what does work, here's this box. We're reading basically her journal. Like never once in this book does she go, this is what will make you happy, or this is what worked for me, this must work for you. And what I like about it is it's like we're just kind of looking into somebody's life. And even if we don't relate to her at all, and we think that she's coming from such a disconnected world than we have, it's kind of nice to just see her journey and how she went about it, instead of reading a book that says like, this is how this is, like this is what works. And so that's why I picked this, because so many other self-help books come from such a righteous, like, here's what works. And it's basically just like her diary. It seems to me like her diary. Like, here's what happened this day. Here's what my child said to me. And here's how I realized this was a better way to communicate. Let me go back and read some of the comments. So Sam says, the best way to go about self-help books is to ignore the author's personal experiences. Yeah, exactly. But again, if you're in such a place where you just need to concentrate on, you know, the basics of your health, your mental health, your physical health, like that is totally understandable. And yeah, definitely. But if you're ready and you're wanting to kind of chew up and digest those sorts of things of a book, then yeah, that's definitely a great way to go about it. And following the tools to help you. But yes, Sammy is right. If mental health is terrible right now, it might not be the time to do these books, so you can get a focus on getting better. Hi, Butterfly. How are you doing? Joanna DeVoe is in the house, y'all. Hi, love. I like the memoir style approach because happiness is not a one-fits-all proposition. Yeah, so that's really why I picked this. But again, I feel like, hey, the diary format is a great style of writing a book. It worked for Brian. Yeah, right. And so I knew going into this, and I will say, this Witchy Book Club is our baby, but it's like my baby that I think and I work all week on, and I try so hard to put forth homework assignments or to bring up conversations that I feel like are going to be juicy for everybody to get into, and I want to pick books that everyone enjoys. That's why I like to do the polls on the Facebook group. But I just have to know within my soul that not everyone's going to click with what we say, and not everyone's going to click with the books, and not everyone's in a space to be able to participate every week or to be able to, you know, connect with those things. And I will say that even though I really appreciate everyone's honesty because it helps me to pick better books in the future, or, you know, to know where you guys are at, there was a second when I was reading this discussion in the Facebook group where my ego was like, wait, what? Someone isn't connecting, or someone doesn't want to read the book anymore. Like, I had to kind of like check myself and think like, this is not a reflection of like me doing bad. It's just someone and multiple people being honest with this is not working for them. So it will say that this was a lesson as well for me, and going like, just you do you, and hopefully, you know, if you can assess and understand where everyone's coming from, and kind of stay connected as a community, but keep on track. It's just was a little bit hard for me, I will say, and it's a, you know, nothing that I'm gonna do. Every book is gonna connect with people differently, and even when you guys picked Uprooted when we did that fiction book, like there was no competition like to any other book. That was the book you guys wanted to read, and some people loved it and some people hated it. And so that's just the name of the game. Like, we're all different people in different situations and different points in our lives. But I have to check myself, you guys, because my ego for a second was like, no. But we're all here for one another, and everyone's in different spots. Honestly, if you don't connect with the book, you could still do the homework. Yeah, and I think a lot of people were saying that they still wanted to join the live streams, that they just don't want to read the book. There's still pretty standard self-help assignments, and you don't necessarily need to read the book. And I'm actually really glad that my homework assignments for this week, which I have 2 new worksheets for you guys I'm really excited about, really do complement this conversation that we're having so well. And I will get to that in a second. Autumn Bree says, my husband and I love it. Lots of good tips. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you're connecting with it. I think reading it for the second time myself, again, like I stated last week, there's lots of things that I am picking up on that I didn't last time. There's things that I love still this time that I loved last time, and there's things where I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm over it. Like, I read this already, you know? Let's read some of the responses to this person's post, because there was some really great ones in here. People are still commenting. So somebody else said, I completely agree. I've been having the same feelings. I've kept reading because I really want to feel that spark of motivation to make the changes that she seems so simple and straightforward, but instead they kind of come across as trite, and it just makes me more depressed and unhappy with myself and feel more worthless for not being able to do that stuff, which of course is not the author's fault, even remotely. It's my own issues, I'm well aware. And again, I think that that's really, really maturely said, that you're stating like how you feel and how you connect or don't connect, but then, you know, you recognize that it's something that's going on within you, and that's perfectly fine. They also say, but it's just not the right book for me now. I think I have a few other steps to take and a few other holes to climb out of, and then this book will be what I need. So while I'm grateful for this group for bringing this book to my attention, and I'll continue following the videos and discussions, etc., I'm going to stop forcing myself to read it until I'm in a better headspace for it. Again, I can't believe how like beautiful and mature you guys are about this. I think that's really, you know, well put and well said. So let's see. Let's see if there's anyone. Somebody else says, don't feel bad. I read a bit, and when I saw marriage, I had to put the book away. This brings me back though to when we were going over things, or is marriage in this one? Parenting, leisure, and friendship. So marriage was last week's. I was very, very serious about saying, if you're not married or you don't ever want to get married, like, you can still connect with this chapter in a sense of what you look for in a partner, or what you look for in, you know, a deep bonding relationship, and trying to take the aspects that she's trying to incorporate with her marriage. Again, this is her experience. She's married. So it's something that she wants to work on and she wants to focus on. And if you're not married, or if you don't want to get married, like I said, that doesn't mean that you can't find beauty and help or maybe inspiration in that chapter. If that person doesn't want to read the book anymore, that's okay. But I just want to encourage you guys that just because there's a little bit in here where you might not have children, so the part that's on children doesn't mean that you can't relate to other aspects of the book. think you guys know that. Maybe I'm just kind of defensive about it, but I feel like it's all about how you view it, and I think definitely not trying to like become or yeah, anyways, you guys know what I'm saying. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that hasn't kind of already been touched on that was posted in Facebook. This person says, I'm not participating because of time constraints, but your reasoning is exactly why you should participate. If everyone came and gushed about the book, it would be boring, honestly. I hope future discussions are with people with differing opinions on the book, and I like that as well. Oh, you guys have been saying things. I'm sorry. Hold on. Butterfly says, yes, absolutely, Sammy. Choosing content that resonates with the viewer and choosing content that reflects the creator is really tricky business. One chapter, I need to get closer. My foot is falling asleep. One chapter and someone actually put the whole book down, you know, but maybe it was something that they were like, listen, if they're even talking about this, no, I'm not doing it. And that might be something that they need to explore, and maybe they are exploring within themselves if they were turned off by one thing. But everybody's different, and that's really going to be like our main focus today is let's break it down. Let's break it down now, and let's literally just take it back to the basics. And our homework today is really going to be such a basic. There's two different things, two different worksheets that I've created for you guys, and let's bring it back down to the basics and just enjoy looking into the simple things about ourselves. Let me just make sure. The Barefoot Taurus says, I'm not married, but the author's marriage inspires me. Love that. Love that. And like I said, again, if you don't want to get married, or you're over it, or maybe you were married before and you have a lot of like pent up anger or, guilt or resentment towards that time or that subject, there's still things, again, it's just about her journey with trying to interact as a better person, whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with her children, whether it's with herself and like who she wants to be and being true to herself. And I think we can get a lot from looking at other people's experiences that they go through, even if they come from a place of privilege. We all bleed the same, Love that you're doing this book club. Oh, Joanna says, love that you're doing this book club, Samantha, because books. I have to run, but so glad I popped in this morning. Much love and magics, everyone. Love that you were here. I'm obsessed with you. And I think you're going to live stream now, so I will be checking in and replaying yours later, and have a beautiful day. I agree. Books. Gotta love them. Enjoy being a part of a community of women who are beautifully different. And there are some guys here as well. But yes, I really, really appreciate that. And like I said, even though I had to check my own ego, I am glad that someone was able to feel confident enough and mature enough to post in the group and saying how they didn't connect with the book, because it opened up a really beautiful conversation. And people were saying, how they felt, or they, it just opened up a really great conversation. And that's what this is about, because we're not all going through the same thing at the same time. And just being able to be open and vulnerable is why we're creating a community. It's not just, oh, Sam's up here every week by herself talking at a camera about a book that she's read. It's like we want to discuss things and become connected and see, how we're all beautifully different and what works and what doesn't work for us, because that's really hashtag community. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to get into. There's a lot of people that were posting their homework. Again, like I said, it was like the 12 personal commandments or the 12 personal mantras, basically like your 12 personal truths that you want to live with and hold. I made a worksheet, but it was basically just 1 through 12 lines. So a lot of people were writing them down themselves if they didn't want to print it out, which is fine. But here's another person's list that they put into here. And one of them was, find the magic in the mundane. I love that. Listen to your body. If it's important, write it down. Eat to live, not live to eat. These are all wonderful, wonderful truths. I posted mine in there, and I decided to put it into my book of shadows / bullet journal. Let me show you. if you didn't see it in the Facebook group or you're not a part of the Facebook group, I will show you mine right now. One of mine is Have Mini Adventures, and I think that I will probably, you know, go deeper into this at some point, but let me just find where I put. So this is my 12 personal mantras. Just really simple. I just put a few little stickers in here, and you might not be able to read it. It might be backwards, but there is a picture of it in the Facebook group. Again, if you want to join, it's facebook.com/groups/witchy book club. One of mine says, move your body. Rest is medicine. Eyes forward, shoulders back. Less is more. That's really big for me. So then that was my I think that there's so many people in here that were sharing. There's people on Instagram that were sharing theirs, that I just put one to my story that somebody did. So it was really beautiful. I love to see what you guys hold as your personal truths. That was really interesting for me. Now, oh, here was another person's. Let's see. Create. It just says create. Love that. Budget and save. Read and write more with Quentin, which I'm assuming is someone in their life. Market myself more. Post more on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So this is like, you can see how everyone's list is so different for them, but I just loved seeing what you guys did. Now for the homework this week, super excited. Let's just get into it because I've mentioned it a few times. I will post a link to it where you can get the worksheets if you want to print them out, and they will be, oh my gosh, there is text messages coming through from my day job. Stressing. My husband and I did the homework. It was interesting to read each other's commandments. I didn't post them because they were personal, and that's totally okay. I love to see that you're doing this with your husband, Heather, because it's going to be, I'm sure it would be interesting to see what his personal truths are and what your personal truths are, and the ones that kind of overlap, even if they're not like worded the same way, it's around the same sort of general idea. And the ones that were so different, I'm sure, I might see if George might want to do this. He would probably be like a little smart ass about it, but I might be able to get him to do it to see what his were. But so the homework, if you're by a computer or you want to look these up now while I'm talking, I did post these on my website, which is samanthamenzo.com. And again, that's always linked down below. If it's not there, it will be there. But there is a section for Witchy Book Club on my website, and the top post, there's an image. It says all about traditions, and if you click on that picture, it'll bring you up. There should be 2 worksheets. The first one says a few of my favorite things, and there's a bunch of lines. Again, I will link this down below if you can't do it right now to get it, so you will have access to it very easily. And then the other one says all about traditions, and there's like cloud bubbles. There's 3 columns for cloud bubbles. So let's talk first about the top one, which is a few of my favorite things. And I think that this is what I was talking about, going back to the basics of our conversation on, you know, bringing it back down to the basics, making it real simple, and how we can relate it to us, and what moves us, what makes us feel good. And I think people who are struggling with serious things, again, I am no mental health professional. If you need assistance, I definitely recommend seeing somebody like a therapist or getting help. There's tons of people and resources that will help you. So I'm not saying that I am here with the answers. That's definitely not. But I think it's always helpful when we're in a position of a hard space, whether it's financially, emotionally, mentally, you know, love-wise, to try our best to find gratitude. And that's when it's the hardest. And so it's not more so a gratitude list as it is a space for us to be able to remember the things that we love. So I don't know how many lines there are. I just have like a ton of lines to write down. And it's basically a space for you throughout the week to fill in anything that you love. So it could be like something that you're doing, like you love hiking. It could be that you love cupcakes. It could be that you love your dog. It could be that you love sex. It could be that you love one specific book, like Harry Potter series. It could be that you just love you know, murder mysteries. It could be that you love snow. Whatever it is, it's a chance. And in turn, it is sort of a gratitude list because, you know, you're thinking about the things that you love. You know, it's more so being grateful for liking those things, but it's not a gratitude list. I just want you to have fun. And during the week, if you're like, you know what, I really, really love scream singing in my car on the way to work, write that on your list. And I think it's kind of nice to have a space where if you can see like a ton of things that you love on one page, especially if you feel like you can share it or you want to share it, it's a great way to like get to know somebody, but it's also a great way to check in and to get to know ourselves. I'm like, look at all the different things that I love, but here's a concentration around this sort of thing where I have like 10 things that I love that are all about books. And being able to move forward with that, like maybe I can center my time and energy more towards those things that I realize that I just really love bagels. So once a week, I'm going to treat myself to a different type of bagel. Whatever, super, super simple, but it'll give you kind of places to go from there if you can have and write down. It's just a fun, simple, easy thing for you guys to do. So there's that one on there. It just says a few of my favorite things. You can print it out and there's a bunch of lines on it. Feel free to share them in the Facebook group, on Instagram, whatever, or keep it to yourself. If it's personal, that's fine too. The other one that I have goes more so with the section that we're going to be going over today. She talks a little bit about traditions and wanting to have traditions, and I thought it was a good thing for us to bring up around this time because for most of us, I think, that join us, we're in the winter solstice, Yuletime, Christmas, holiday, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, time of year where it seems like in between like Thanksgiving for Americans and the end of the year, there's a ton of traditional things, activities, or experiences that we do or that are brought up. Some can create a lot of negative emotions and feelings, and some can spark like the happiest times. So this is a very, very simple sheet for us to do. There's 3 columns. The first column has, each of the columns has 3 little cloud bubbles in different colors. So the first column says traditions from the past. The second column says current traditions, and then the third column says traditions I want to start. This could be with my art, just yourself. This could be with your family. This could be with a loved one, with a child, with your pet, whatever you want, with your job, whatever you want. It's just a time to think about traditions because we probably already are, and maybe go back and reflect on some of the traditions from the past that you enjoyed. That maybe you had when you were younger, or maybe that you used to do with your family that for some reason you don't do anymore, or just things that you know, remember about some sort of tradition. And then obviously the current traditions are things that you do now. You might not even realize are traditions until you start to think about it. And then there's a space, obviously, like I said, for traditions you want to start. If there's something that you really enjoy and there's something that you want to incorporate or that you want to improve on, that you want to kind of make a tradition, whether it's holiday, festive, or not, you know, just there's a space for you to kind of get reflective, go inward. Again, this might bring up a lot of difficult feelings and times. The holidays, if you're celebrating and you're in the space of the world that is, you know, holiday mode, it might be a very difficult time for you, but this also might be a little healing to be able to reflect and think on the good traditions that help you or that make you happy. So those 2 worksheets are there for you. If you do choose to accept the homework and work on it, you can do one, you could do both, you can do none. They're there for you if you want them. And I will love seeing if you guys are, you know, how you guys react or what you do with them. So again, you can find that link. I will post the link in the Facebook group as well if that helps. What do you guys think? Let me go back to the comments and see if I missed anything. I think you all were just like listening to me, but let's see. Okay, so Heather says we didn't just make a list, but wrote underneath each commandment why that's one we wrote. Oh, you guys are such goals. That's so cute. I love that so much. He is so sweet. And Jezebel Von Tech says, hey, yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've been able to be in one of these. Hey, y'all all. Hi, Jezebel. We are we're talking today. Welcome back. Alter Ego says, I'm excited for the homework as always. Yay. I think that you guys are more inclined to participate when I make worksheets, even if you don't use the worksheets, because I know for me, when I would give homework assignments, if I was on the other end and I couldn't like see, oh, my brother's gonna walk in. If I couldn't see an example or like have something visual to like get an idea about, which is why I tried my best to do my own homework assignment as quickly as possible and like post it for you guys to see or to get inspired. I feel like not as many people did it. So me creating the worksheets and everything was a way for you to be like, oh, this is what she means, or oh, this is like a way for me to kind of stick with it. Hi, Zach.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Trying to be quiet.
It's okay. I told him you're gonna walk in and then I could like see you in the window. Do you want to pop your head in? That's my brother.
I'm eating chocolate.
Ew. Look at Phoebe. Phoebe, who's here? Who is that? She literally could not care. Oh, okay. There she goes. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. So what are you doing? Are you going to hang out here for a little bit? Or?
Yeah, I got Tim Hortons. I'm good for a minute. I don't know.
Did you bring me Tim Hortons?
I texted you. I didn't know what you wanted.
Oh, sorry.
So
Yeah.
you're
I have it on.
So I had no idea what to get.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
no.
you. Okay, that's okay. I don't think I can even have anything.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know what to get you. I stared at the menu for like 10 minutes and
Look
gave
at
up.
her. She's like, yay. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going, but you don't have to be quiet. They know you're here.
Okay. Cool. Do you think?
Yay! Okay, sorry, guys. Now, let's go into... Is everybody on the same page, or everyone understand? And is any... Like, Alter Ego says she's excited to do the homework, but I think you know what I mean when I make a worksheet. It's a little easier for people to say, like, this is what she means, or here, I can just print this out, and it's like a starting basis for you guys. Now, let's kind of quickly go over the sections. So we were going over chapters 4 through 6, and the first, and she, you know, if this is your first time here, she's taking a month per chapter for the year. So there's 12 chapters, so each chapter is about 1 month where she is kind of diving into a different part of her life that she kind of wants to reevaluate and see how she can create a more positive atmosphere or mindset around. And so we start this live stream with the 4th chapter, which is April, and her goal is to go into parenting or how to lighten up. And so the main focus for this chapter is sing in the morning, acknowledge the reality of people's feelings, take time for projects, and be a treasure house of happy memories. She goes into fog happiness, which I thought was really interesting because I don't remember her talking about this from the first time I read the book. So I kind of had fog brain about this section, but she basically is talking about like activities that she considers enjoyable, but that aren't actually enjoyable while she's doing it. So like, I can't remember what her example was, but for some people's example is like cleaning. So it might make you happy to clean, or you might be happier when your space is clean, but you don't actually enjoy cleaning. So that would be something that's like fog happiness. Like I hate cleaning the bathroom. Like I hate who likes scrubbing the toilet? Come on. You know, scrubbing the toilet and scrubbing down the sink and making sure the tub is done. Like I hate doing it. But the thought around cleaning the bathroom makes me happy. Or when the bathroom is clean, I'm happy. It's sort of, that's obviously an extreme thing, but I think that there's things in our life that we do that we think make us happy, but while we're actually doing it, is not enjoyable. So I don't know if there's anything in your life that you kind of relate to that you feel like, oh, and she kind of talks very honestly about how parenting is fog happiness. While like a lot of it is very enjoyable and nice to raise children, a lot of the process of parenting is fog happiness. Like it's nice to look back and say like, I taught my child something, but while you were teaching them, they might be screaming and crying and you're tired, and you know, while you're doing the process, it's difficult and not as enjoyable as you would think. But overall, it's fog happiness. So Heather says, I made a gratitude jar for our family and cut out a whole bunch of blank hearts. We write what we're thankful for, or we write down random acts of kindness. For example, if I had a long day and my ... You know, Heather is like such an all-star of life. And I know, like, looking out on it, you know, everyone goes through stuff, but Heather is just awesome. She just gets all the gold stars. I feel like everyone has a point in their life where everything feels like fog happiness. Kind of feels like that for me right now. Right. I agree. Yeah, I feel like even it doesn't have to be on a specific task. It's just like maybe things, right? Like just, or not things, like general, like maybe your job. Maybe you love doing your job. No, maybe you love your job, but while you're doing your job, you have fog happiness, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I feel. But yeah, so let's see what else. There she goes. Oldest son does the dishes and sweeps the floors or whatever to help out. I would write on it, write on a heart, thank you for helping me with the chores. We dump the jar out at the end of the month and read them. Oh my gosh, I want to be Heather when I grow up. That's what Raquel said, honestly. Together and then start over for the next month. That is so cute. And then you can make like a little like scrapbook over the time of like all your hearts, so you can, oh my god, you're so cute. My husband felt that there's a difference between satisfaction and happiness when she discussed fog happiness. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it too. My husband felt that there's a difference between satisfaction and happiness when she discussed fog happiness. Yeah. So, like, it satisfies me to have the bathroom cleaned and to clean the bathroom. It's satisfying, but it's not happiness. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Sam says, 100% I don't hate my job at all. There are so many perks, but I hate doing it. All I do is sit all day. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's going to be with whatever you do. There's going to be ups and downs to everything, but there is this like idea of fog happiness that I can't put my finger on describing certain aspects specifically, but I just know what she was talking about, and it like made me think more when she started saying like fog happiness. So let me see what else. If you guys are commenting anything, I just want to see where I want to go to next. I have a ton of notes, and I know last live stream I talked about possibly taking my notes because we didn't cover like even a fourth of what I had, you know, had for what I wanted to talk about. I had to keep it really short last week, but I talked about like posting my notes into the group. I still might do that. I honestly just didn't have time to kind of reevaluate them and like change a few things to make it postable for you guys. If you do want that, and people didn't like jump up and raise their hand like, yes, please, I can't wait to read your notes. So I didn't like put extra energy into doing that. I can do that if that's something that you guys want. But I could do it again this week. I have like notes in a Word document that I can post if it's helpful, maybe journal prompts or something like that, or to dive in deeper to our conversation. Raquel says, do you think joy and happiness are the same thing, or are they different for you? Joy and happiness, is joy and happiness. In my mind, because it's a hard question, I think that might change like from day to day on what I feel on that. But in my mind, for whatever reason, I feel like joy is more of a moment feeling, like joy in a moment, and happiness is like an overall term, if that makes sense. So like, I felt joyful while decorating my home for Christmas or for the holidays, you know, but living in it, I don't know how to word it, but like the whole having it done creates an overall happiness for me for a long period of time. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. They do feel like the same thing to me, but if I were to break it down, I would think that the word joy in my mind and how I associate it with it is more of like a moment to moment feeling, but happiness is more so of like, you know, an overall way to describe a feeling. Yeah, it is a good question, Autumn. I need to think about that some more. Yeah, I tried to, like, I didn't have much time to kind of think about that. It's a great question. Maybe post that in the Facebook group and see what other people think too, if you want, Raquel, because I'm interested to see how people think about that. Joy, yeah, I would say joy to me is more so, I feel like they're the same feeling, but they just describe different moments. You know what I'm saying? Joy is like I feel joy right now. I feel happy right now, but in my mind, for whatever reason, happy feels more of like a blanket term over a long period of time, or a bigger subject matter. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the way we use the word happy more than we use the word joy or joyful. And honestly, joy and joyful literally just makes me think of like the holidays. We don't really use the term joy, at least not where I'm from or where I'm at. Like we just use the word happy. So that's such a good question. Love that. What do you guys think? Let me know. What do you think? And I'm interested if you don't post it, Raquel, I might post it in there. Joy seems like it's more powerful than happy, to me at least. Yeah, and I think for me that feels true, but also because happy feels, again, like we use the word happy so often and so much that maybe it becomes like watered down. Whereas when you say joy or joyful, it just feels more powerful. Yeah. Good freaking question. The pursuit of happiness. We don't say the pursuit of joy. It just sounds really weird. Okay, so what else? So she talks with parenting about a lot of things, and specifically for me, I am not a parent. My situation's very like sticky, or there's a lot of gray areas with in my life and how I could relate to her, because I'm not a parent. I have not birthed a child. I do not have my own child. But my boyfriend has 2 children and they're teenagers. I've been in their life now for almost 5 years, more so like a little over 4. But they were like 8 and 9 or 8 and 10 when I first came into their life, and now, so I think that I am a parental figure. The other thing for me too is that there's a big age gap between my boyfriend and I. So there's 13 years in between us, and there's almost 13 years kind of like in between the children and I. So I am not a parent to them. I'm not their friend. I can be their friend, but I am a parental figure. Like, I still make sure that they get up on time, and make sure that I remind them to make their lunch, and to make sure that they're showering, and to make sure that they're happy, and to, check in with them and how they're doing, and, drive them to school, and, all of those things. Like, I am a parental figure in their life, but I am not their parent. They have parents, and they do very wonderful at co-parenting together. So, and in involving me in that process, like when it came down to picking what school the kids were going to go to, because they were changing schools, I was blessed enough to have a situation where my brother is holding my dog like a baby, and it's so cute. I was very blessed to be involved in that process. Like, they invited me out to dinner or out to a meal with the kids where we all put in our input. Then I know that this is a situation that is like very rare. But I think that I have such a gray area and such a line into, I'm not a parent, but I am a parental figure for them. And so this chapter for me specifically was very important because, again, she's dealing in the book with like really young children where, the kids are like, they're practically mini adults. Michaela's about to be driving, and AJ's in high school too, and he's dealing with things like relationship and stuff like that. And so I'm in a totally different mindset and world than her as far as parenting goes, but there were still things that I was really finding helpful in talking about or thinking about. I really wanted to sit down and see what did I think were my parents growing up, what their weaknesses and strengths were. So maybe taking a second to journal as a child, because I'm sure my brother's right here, but I'm sure that like there's some things that we would think were similar about each parent and what their weaknesses or strengths were, but I'm sure that him and I come from different perspectives as well, because he's a different person than me. So where I might think was a strength in one parent, he might think like, whatever, it's cool, they were really good at this instead. But for me as a parent or a parental figure, I think it would be helpful for me to look back and think, what was good and what didn't work for me for my parents growing up, and what do I want to take from their strengths and kind of try and bestow upon my parenting or parental figure. You know, it's so hard because it's such a, again, I call it, I'm not a parent, I'm a parental role, or I'm a parental figure in their lives. So that was something that really made me think about my position. And then also it made me think, like, how can I play towards the qualities that I loved about them and what I wanted as a child. Now the difference is that Michaela and AJ are very different than me. Michaela has a lot more of my qualities, but they're still totally different people. So even though I know what I liked as a child and what I thought was really helpful as a child, it's not going to be the same for them. But it's more so like, what were my parents' weaknesses and strengths in my mind as a child, or at their age, at a teenager, right? And then also, what do I feel like? I want to sit down and think, like, what are my weaknesses and strengths as a parental role right now? And I think one of my weaknesses right now is nagging, and coming from a space of not being able to communicate clearly enough and letting it kind of build up and turning into a nagging, instead of being able to effectively get, you know, and she goes into nagging here too, so I did connect a lot with that. But I think as far as one of my strengths as a parental role, I'm really good at making the situation like fun and happy and lighthearted and like joking around with certain things, where like a situation might be really serious or nothing might be going on, and I'm really good at like starting a game or, you know, making them smile or making them laugh, or, you know, being able to sit down and recognize what my weaknesses and strengths are as well, and what I feel like I need to look at. That's really what I'm getting the most out of this chapter. Now, if you're not a parent, if you don't want to be a parent, if you can't be a parent, or whatever that is, there's still ways in which you can connect to this chapter as far as maybe interacting with younger people, or how you can be an inspiration to people that look up to you, whether it's, you know, a cousin, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's someone at your job or a friend that's younger than you, and how you might not even realize that they are looking up to you in some sort of role model sense, and how you're interacting with those people. You know, make it your own, you guys. That's what it's all about. I've talked a lot. Let me see what you guys are saying, because I know you're commenting. So Raquel says, I think one of my commandments will be to seek moments of joy each day. That seems more manageable and approachable. Yeah, that's, again, a really great way to bring it down to basics. Heather says, I'm not a perfect person or parent, but it's so important to us to teach our kids to be humble and practice gratitude. It's very, sometimes, that's like the most difficult thing for kids sometimes too. Because they're just balls of ego that they just think that's just how it is. A few weeks ago, I did a craft show at my son's school, and a teacher of his came up to me and said Zach stayed after class to help clean up a mess all the kids made in art. She said he didn't have to do that, but told me it's not her responsibility to pick up after everyone. And she told me we were raising a well-mannered kid, and that's what it's all about. That is so sweet. Aww. Raquel says, wow, you have teenagers, Sammy? Yes, I do. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything reading Heather's comments. Okay, and Raquel says, it would be a great way to find it would be great to find another way. Yeah, so again, make it your own. This definitely doesn't have to connect with a lot of people, this chapter. But also she talks, like, so she always has two main things for the chapter. So April is parenting / lighten up, right? And she talks about how she needs to lighten up, or how she wants to lighten up in her aspects of parenting. But she talks a lot about nagging or reframing a chore and deciding that she likes it. You know, and this is where she goes into traditions and all of that. Again, just take the mindset in the area around lightening up and put it for whatever area of your life you feel like you might want to lighten up about. May is leisure. Be serious about play. Maybe you feel like you leisure too much and that you need to put fire underneath your butt. Take that and spin it the opposite way when you're reading it. Get out of it what you want to get out of it. June is friendship, make time for friends. Maybe, you know, you feel like you have a really difficult time making friends, where she's just talking about keeping up with friends and being, you know, a better friend, and you're struggling to actually have friends and to find a way to make friends. And that might be hard for you to connect with that chapter, but just make it your own, you guys. Just do what you have to make it your own. That was about the nagging, my last comment. I'm not sure if that comment showed up. It didn't, and I was a little bit confused. That would be a great way to find another way. Find joy. So, okay, wait, so you meant that would be a great way to find another way about finding joy in day-to-day moments type thing, Rekha? Good morning, beautiful souls. Hello there. Welcome. So let's go back now. Let's see if there's anything else in the chapter for parenting that I want to go over. Oh, so this is where she talks about traditions, and that's what gave me the idea to focus on one of our homework assignments for traditions. One of the traditions that we have with the kids that we've been doing, and I call them the kids, but they're not kids. So whenever I say the kids, that's what I mean, is the teenagers. What us as a family, one of our traditions that we didn't even mean to make a tradition, but is going and chopping down our own Christmas tree. We've done that from the moment George and I started dating, and we've done it every year, and it's been like a thing for us, and we haven't gotten to do it yet this year, but George and I talked, we still want to do it if we can. Because we really like, it's a way for us to spend time together. It's a way for us to get outside. It's a nice memory. The one year we literally got the biggest tree, and it like ripped the door frame off because we couldn't get it in the door. It was like, we'll forever and always talk about that time. So that's one that's going to go into the current traditions. And then what else do I have on here? What are some now, and what are some that you'd like to adopt? So these were the notes that I was taking and how I developed into wanting to do this. So also, the last thing I want to talk about for this chapter is she got really excited in the end of this chapter about getting a laminator and getting a label maker. And I was like, I don't really know what her astrological chart is. I've not looked up to it. I don't even know if it's online. But if you guys had to guess an overall feel of what this author, what Gretchen's astrological sign is, what would you guess? Because I feel like when I was reading this book, it was like, whoa, this is coming across real hard on this sign. And the only reason I'm asking this, you guys, is because we did our the only astrology book you'll ever know lesson on here. So I think a lot of you guys have some knowledge about astrology. Capricorn, she sounds like my sister. Okay, yeah, for sure. That's, yeah, actually, so there was two signs now that I'm thinking of. Okay, never mind. Maybe I just related to this one. Capricorn totally sounds like her, for sure. There was another one that I was thinking more so with about, like, her, like, nagging and with her little detail-oriented things and how she likes to have, like, ritual. December 15th. Is that her birthday? Does she talk about it in the book? Whatever, no one's commenting. So I was thinking she's totally Virgo with the way, and now I think she's totally Capricorn as well. So she's a Sag. Yeah, she would be a Sagittarius. But again, you guys know what that's like. You could make your rising, your moon, all that stuff will affect as well. But I don't know, like a lot of these things, when I was reading it, I'm like, wow, she sounds very Virgo to me. And now I'm thinking Capricorn as well. That was just a fun little thing I wanted to bring up. Let's see. But she also is really into like the facts and everything. Okay, now I'm really thinking Capricorn is a better guess. All right, so May, let's move on to chapter 5. Oh, actually, while we're talking about astrology, here's the giveaway that I'm gonna do. We, how many books ago was it? I feel like it was like 4 books ago now. But anyways, we did almost like a course or a breakdown of the basics of astrology, where I broke down, you know, the natal charts, the zodiac signs, and the planets, and the meanings, and how to, you know, use them. And we used the book, the only astrology book you'll ever need. There is like some tape I need to get off of here, but when we had our family get together, my sister had me for Secret Santa, and I feel so bad because she tried so hard to find something that I loved, and she did a great job because I was telling everyone, like, obviously I really loved this because I created like a little mini course on it and I used it, and this is like my astrology Bible. And so it's huge. If you haven't participated in that and you want to participate, and the videos are still available for you, or if you participated but you couldn't afford the book, or for whatever reason, I have an extra copy of this because she gave it to me, and I thought this is a great way for me to do a little giveaway for you guys. I don't know how to do it, so I'm up for suggestions, but I definitely want to do a giveaway with this book because I have 2 copies now, and I want to open it up for you guys to get it if you would like it. So let me know either in the comments below or now what you think I could do for a giveaway for you guys, and I'll announce it in the Facebook group as well as my Instagram when I've decided. But I'm going to be doing a little mini giveaway of this book, so one of you could win, but I don't know how to do it yet. I just thought I'd announce. Maybe you guys have a good idea on how to go about it. So that is that, while we had astrology already on the brain. Let me see, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so May is our next chapter, chapter 5. She talks about leisure, be serious about play. She covers finding more fun, take time to be silly, go off the path, start a collection. And I typed, what do you do for fun? It is hard for me to do things that doesn't have a payout because I have built such a strong foundation around business of my hobbies and happiness tasks, such as art and tarot and talking and helping others and reading and the book club. So I found that when I was reading this, I was getting a little like resentful myself because she was talking about finding joy and happiness and things. And I think it was Raquel's list or somebody's list said like, what I read it out loud, I can't remember what it was, like, don't turn your joys into chores or something. And while I find that there's a lot of truth in that, I also find that I want to create time and space for me to do the things I love and to create a career around it, which is why, oh, that was Sam's. Okay, great. Yeah. Which is why I have a tarot business and why I want to create artwork and why I love to talk on YouTube. And even though it's a lot of work and it is a chore, it's something that I enjoy doing. You know, you guys, I don't make a lot of money off of making videos. Like, I don't make any money really off of videos. I do it because I freaking love it, and I've done it. It makes happiness for me. And even though it is a chore, if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't do it. Same with tarot. Like, I love nothing more than doing a video reading for somebody, but thinking about setting up my camera and setting up my space and clearing my energy and setting aside time when I just want to lay in bed and read a book, like, it is a chore, but I'm able to create and try and build a career around something that I enjoy doing, and there's always going to be ups and downs to everything. And so for myself, it's hard for me to find tasks that I enjoy doing that I don't see has a payout of some sort. And that's actually a bit of a struggle as well. So like, for example, there's very little time for me to just like make art to make art. I'm thinking like, how can I make art and maybe turn it into a video? So I do think that I need to set aside a bit of time to find the things I love and not always have to have it play out for some sort of, and when I say payoff, I don't mean actual like financial, I mean like use it to my advantage to help me, which is fun, but it's also exhausting all the time to kind of like do something and then think, oh, how can I make this and use this to my advantage? Which is really the main reason and thought why I came up with the, you know, a few of my favorite things list, is because if I can just recognize all the things I love, I might be able to pick a few of those out that I can do without feeling like I have to do them or that I need to use them for my benefit in some way other than just doing them or experiencing them or eating them. Like I said, bagels could be on there, whatever. Let me go back and say, Sam says, I wrote that because I love to cook, but I've turned it into a chore. Basically, like if I've turned it into something that doesn't bring me joy and I actually dread it, then I need to find a passion for it again. Yeah, I love that. So like reinventing your own My favorite astrology book that I own. It's so good. It has everything in there, and it's so simple and easy to understand, and it feels real meaty. So, yeah, it's a real easy one just to, like, if you need one bit of information, it's real easy to find it. Whereas other astrology books, you're like, oh my gosh, where was this? So, let's see what else here. Oh, I just want to mention that I loved this the first time I read it, and I love it still now, where she talks about just because something is fun for someone doesn't mean it will be fun for you. And I find that a lot in the spiritual, witchy, tarot, whatever community that you feel most connected with, or even in this community. We were touching on this already about the books or the subject matter of the books. It's not going to connect with everybody. But I feel like there are things in which I have felt like I need to be doing, and one of them was like working with a goddess, and I talked about this a long time, is like, just because everybody's doing it and everybody feels like this is the way it needs to be does not mean that that has to be enjoyable or that you have to do that. And I feel like we all know that, but then we still all have a bit of us that are like, well, I don't do this, or I don't connect with this, so am I not good enough, or am I not doing it right? And I've struggled with that, and I think I'm getting a lot better with it, but hearing it put so bluntly in a book, or just hearing her talk about it over and over again, just because something is fun for someone doesn't mean it will be fun for you. And taking that in turn with one of my like mini truths, my mantras, or my commandments, have mini adventures. And I think I write about this a lot. I think maybe in the next part, or maybe, no, I put it right here. Oh, great. Okay. I love going on mini adventures by myself. I love eating by myself, but it is so weird for people to do that when they have a relationship or friends that they could go with. So like, I'm in a relationship, I have the kids, I have friends. Why would I go out to eat by myself? Why would I go to the movies by myself? Why would I go to an art exhibition or a concert by myself when I could experience it or connect with other people? But I really enjoy spending time with myself and going on mini adventures by myself. I find, though, that my instinctive Gemini adapting nature is to form and melt into the energy and enthusiasm of whoever I'm with. So when I go to concerts or restaurants and stores, I have a faded experience than I would if I went by myself. I feel alive when I go out and have mini adventures alone. And I feel like I get insecure about it because it makes me feel like that I don't know, that I just don't want to connect with other people, that I feel like, I don't know. I feel weird about it. And I think that this is connecting to her section in the book about being drawn to children's literature, about how she kind of kept that to herself, or she wouldn't acknowledge the fact that she enjoys children's literature over other things. And I have stopped myself from going out and doing things because I feel like if I don't do them with other people, that I shouldn't be doing them at all. And that's not the case. So one of my goals for the next year, and one of the things on my list, is to have mini adventures. And when I say mini adventures, I mean solo mini adventures. I want to find an art exhibition, and I just want to go myself and experience it and live and be independent, my own woman, do my own thing, because I experience it so much differently when I'm by myself. And I think it's a healthy thing for me to spend time alone doing something I love. But bringing it back to why I even brought this up was that just because something is fun for someone else, it doesn't mean it'll be fun for you. So like, if I want to go to an art exhibition, George will go with me, but he won't really enjoy it like I would. So if I'm asking or wanting him to go, then my experience is going to be faded. If I'm forcing him or trying to get him to go to something that he wouldn't like, why wouldn't I just want to go do it myself, kind of thing. That was a lot. Let me read the comments. So, Raquel says, I agree. I have a hard time with having a channel just to connect with others. I always think I need to turn into this business somehow, or it's not worth the time, but I don't really want to feel that way. That's a great thing. Oh my God, my legs are falling asleep. Sorry, guys. I think it's because we are taught to expect monetary compensation for our time. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way. A lot of channels feel that way. Like, what am I doing this for if I'm not getting anything out of it? I don't feel that way, but I can see how some I can see how some people, YouTube's different though, Raquel, because having a YouTube channel, you think like, oh, let me just turn on the camera and like talk and then post a video. When you're not doing it, you're like, oh, this is easy. They're just sitting back and talking. But the time and effort and energy that it goes into making one video is a lot. So I think once we start making videos, we realize, well, I'm spending a lot of time on this. How can I make this beneficial for myself? Or is this worth my time and energy? And I think that's why a lot of channels get wrapped up into it, because of the fact that they might start it thinking like, oh, this will be easier, this will be fun, or maybe they're just trying to get over the fact that like they need to face a camera and that's a big deal for them. But then once they do it, they realize to make a decent quality video, like they have to actually put in a ton of freaking work, and then it like turns them off to it. So it's like, all right, I'm either going to do this because I love it, or I'm going to do it because if I'm putting this much time into it, I want it to make it worth it for me. And I don't think that that's the greatest way to go into it, but I think a lot of the times that's what happens because people don't realize until they're in it how much time and energy goes into just one video. I think it's because we're taught, okay, I already read that. No, it's so much work. Yep, totally. And there are channels out there, really great channels that are just like, hey, I'm just sitting here talking. Okay, I'll see you when I want to come back. And those are really great too. I don't think every time I make a video that I'm like, how can this benefit me? How can this move me up? Like, there are certain videos that are more like, all right, I feel like this is necessary, or I feel like this is a good move for me to make this video. And there's others that I'm just like, this is what I want to talk about now, you know? But I am coming from a mindset of a business or creating a business, but also wanting to just connect to people, which is why I like this side of my channel a whole lot, because it feels personal, it feels very vulnerable, and I feel like I get one-on-one. It's not so much about me in my thing, it's about our thing and our thoughts. With that, with what you're doing here, you definitely deserve to be compensated. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I very, very much appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And I'm finding ways in which that works for me. Trial and error, you know? Like, I have the super chat as an option. If you guys feel you want to donate and you feel like you want to contribute to my time in this book club, in this space, it's there for you, which is why I like to keep this on a free platform. I do monetize my videos, but because it takes 2 seconds for you to skip it if you don't want to watch it, but it helps me out in the end for all the time I go. But I'm not on Patreon. I'm not, you know, I might at one point go to Patreon. Right now, I keep saying this every video. I don't feel right now that that's the space for me. And so if people want to contribute, if people want to, they can. If not, that's great. Hi, Rebecca. How are you doing? All right. Let's see what else. Oh, I talked about something else that I love, which will go on my list, is playing board games and card games, which we're a huge board game, card game family. I came from a huge board game, card game family, and now I am in, like, us four, we love, Michaela is the one that doesn't as much like board games or card games. She will in certain situations, but, she's the one, like, AJ loves any type of game. Like, if you turn anything into a game, like, he's in on it. He loves it. He loves to make his mind work and to compete, and he just loves it. So every once in a while, our friends will hold a game night, and I absolutely love, like, it's one of my favorite things to do is to go over to their house and to play games. They have all these really great, like, nerdy board games that we play, and I freaking love it so much. I don't necessarily ever win, but I just love, like, interacting with people and playing games and thinking and strategy, and it's just a great way to get together. And we just had our Christmas party, or holiday party, I should say, because it was kind of like Thanksgiving, New Year's, you know, holiday party for my family on Saturday, and we played Code Names, which is one of my favorite games. If you guys have never heard of that game, it's so fun. It's so fun. And so we played that, and we had a great time with it. Zach, did you know that there's a dirty version of that?
That makes sense.
It's so much harder because literally any word that you say is like Yeah, like it goes, so it's so much harder, and it's really funny. But anyways, so I love board games, and I think what I want to do, and could be one of my new traditions, is to have a game night. Now this is tricky because our friends, like, that's their thing. So maybe I won't have like a everybody come over and have game night. Maybe it's like, okay, no, once a month, us as a 4 family, like, this is our game night, and this is what we're doing. Or if everyone can participate, you know, who wants to do this, when can we do it? And obviously I don't want to like lay down my iron fist and be like, this is what we're doing. But it would be a tradition that I think we would all enjoy, that I think that we would all get along doing. Maybe we can switch off with what games we play. We can buy a new game and start a new thing every month. But I think it's something that I want to incorporate because we all have so much fun doing it. Anyways, so let's see. We've been going for about an hour 15. I don't have that much notes for the rest of it. I know we have June, make time for friends and friendship. I'm not gonna lie, I have this on Audible, and when I was reading it, I was like cleaning up the house and doing dishes, and I didn't really get a whole lot of notes from this chapter. I didn't feel as connected. What she goes over in the last chapter for this live stream, which is chapter 6, is remembering birthdays, being generous, don't gossip, make 3 new friends, and show up. And she talks about getting in touch with old friends or, you know, people in her life. And I guess I put down, are you someone that has a lot of friends or a few really close friends? As we get older, I think it gets a little bit more difficult to keep a big friend group. If you were someone maybe when you were younger or maybe in high school or whatever that had like a really big friend group, I think, you know, when you get older, people change or move away or start to have kids or whatever happens, like it gets difficult to kind of keep that. I've always been someone that got along with everyone, but I was someone that had a few close friends, and I'm still like that to this day. Zach, I feel like, are you someone that like do you think you have like a ton of friends or like a few close friends?
Now?
Just in general, like, are you someone that like has...
I got 2 people that I would consider I still talk to on a regular basis, but I thought there's like 10 or 15 across America that I could call up, and it wouldn't be that weird to just shoot the shit with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's because I think like in high school that you might have been someone that was like more, you had a big friends group.
It mattered a lot to me back then, but now, you know, 4 states in 4 years.
Right.
Hard to keep those relationships alive.
Right. And yeah. So my brother, if you can't hear him, he's traveled a lot. Like, he's lived in a lot of different places since like high school. But just looking back, I was asking him because I feel like we approach things like, I had a solid little friends group. Even though I was friends with everybody, I didn't have like a huge group of friends. Rebecca, you're so sweet. Rebecca just contributed 7 pounds. Thank you so much. She said, happy holidays, much love. I have to run as little one is in hospital. Oh, and I need to FaceTime him before he goes to sleep. You're so sweet. You like break my heart whenever you're here. I'm sending you so much love and happiness this holidays. I know that you go through so much. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. That means so much. For just popping in and seeing your little name in the comments. That was very sweet. And contributing. Thank you so much. But I think it's an interesting thing to talk about is, you know, whether you're somebody that like values or has like one really good friend, or if you're someone that's like, I really want a bunch of people that I can call on or that I can have over or that I can connect with on different times of the year. So let's see. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Rebecca did that. You're so sweet. Heather says, yes, we are too. Love games. Games are so fun. So that's pretty much it, you guys. If you guys want to talk about anything else or go into anything else, that was pretty much it for this week's chapter. Let me pull up and just make sure that nothing else is popping in. Somebody just joined our Facebook group. Yay! How many members do we have right now? Let's see how many members that makes us. We have 238 members in our Facebook group, and we only started this Facebook group a little bit ago. So I'm so happy at how we're growing and expanding and how we're all coming from different walks of life. I wanted to see, because I posted in here like what the week breakdowns are for this. Just give me a second, you guys. Because I want to, so next week, what's the date next week? The 17th. Okay, yeah, so the 17th, we're going over the next 3 chapters for next Monday. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is December the 17th. We'll be going over chapters 7, 8, and 9, right? Yep, 7, 8, 9 is the chapters we're going over. If you want to do the homework assignment this week, you can just write them down. Or you can print out the printable worksheets that I've made. I'll leave a link down below. I will leave a link in the Facebook group. You can just go straight to my website if you've been there before or it's easier for you, SamanthaMenzo.com. Under the tab Witchy Book Club, it'll be the first post. You have to click on the picture and both of the pictures will show up. And again, the homework is a list of a few of my favorite things. Spend time all throughout the week, kind of get on with it, and then all about traditions. It's a great time right now to sit back and think about traditions, things from the past, things that you're doing now, and things that you want to incorporate. Heather says, we play a Christmas light game in the car with the kids to make it fun. It's a tradition we do every year. I make a list of things that you would see on houses or in their yard, like candy canes. Or, she's still typing. So that is that. I wanted to quickly talk about readings that I have available. The Mercury Retrograde reading was really fun for me to have. We are past the Mercury Retrograde now, so that reading is not available. It has gone on private now. And so when the next Mercury Retrograde comes, if you're looking for some insight or you want a reading that's not as high of a cost, it's a great way for you to connect with yourself and me through card readings that are available on my website. But the Mercury Retrograde is gone. I hope that people who purchased that, who got their readings, really enjoyed. There is a handful of other readings on my shop if you want to check them out. The one that is really big right now that I think a lot of readers are publicizing and everything is like the year ahead. I do have a year ahead spread available. It is one of the higher priced readings, but it is a lot of information, y'all. Like, there's no way that these readings are going to be less than an hour because we're going to be really diving into like 13 cards, very detailed messages on breaking down each of the months ahead and what to look out for, and tools and tricks and tips of how to best navigate through things. So if you're looking for a more detailed and you've always wanted to do your year ahead for yourself, or you want a good full lengthy look into 2019, that's a really great way to do it, to connect with me and all of that. Plus there's really some fun readings in there. So if you want to check out my website, feel free. Again, it's SamanthaMenzo.com. Anything else you guys want, feel free, because we're halfway through this book now. So we're going to be talking about the next book that's going to be up for discussion for our first book of 2019. Please, please, please feel free to DM me, to email me, to comment down below, or into the Facebook group suggestions for our next book, because I will definitely take that into consideration. And if no one suggests things, or I feel like it's not a good fit, then I'm just going to have to come up with a book again, you guys, which is fine, but I'd rather you kind of have the input in it yourself. Oh yeah, so she's finishing up. Heather's finishing up. So blow up Santas, etc. And I have points next to each thing on the list. And when we see something, we have to yell it out. And whoever says it or sees it first gets the points. Oh, cute. And then the winner gets to pick either a hot chocolate from somewhere or an ice cream, something sweet. You need to be a teacher. Oh my gosh, Heather, you are so creative and fun. And like the things that you come up with to do with your kids, you're a great mom. You're just killing the game here. You inspire me so much. Yeah, so anyways, killing it. I think that's it, you guys. I'm looking at the Facebook group, and if you have anything else that you want to say, feel free to contact me anytime. I'm going to get going so I can hang out with my brother for a sec. Love you guys so much. I can't get up here. Have a beautiful, wonderful, magical day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.